Welcome to the Good Karma Sportfishing podcast. I'm your host, Capt Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Wow, the winds of October are here. It's just part of the cycle. So we expect it every year, and every year they seem to come a little bit earlier. And they seem to stick around a little bit longer. Anyways, we've had a cool down here. Very excited. It's been windy for the past, I don't know. I think it started over the weekend. I honestly don't. I think it started Monday. I really don't know because I've just been way too busy. I've got a lot of stuff in the cooker that I haven't talked about on the podcast. Just so much that it's not even worth talking about. So because I could go on for hours with it. But anyways, so guys, I want to talk a little bit about the injury that I had in depth. Those that fished with me after, I didn't let on how shitty it was. It was pretty bad. So, your elbow, hey, listen, man, it was pretty bad. And a lot of it had to do with trying to get to the root cause was, it was pretty intense. But essentially, my day starts at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I re-spool all the bird's nests from the days before. I redo all the top shots, and I do all that stuff manually. So every day, reeling, re-spooling. Also, too, a lot of it had to do with fishing in shitty weather. The Seakeeper is great, but it's not a cure-all. Okay, so it's just a lot that goes into it, and I'm a machine until it breaks down, and I basically broke down. So I did what I needed to do to recover. And one thing I tell people is that when you're in this line of work or any other line of work and you kind of let shit go because you're like, if you're anything like me, I'm not one to rush to the doctor, and I try to take care of that. I'm just not that type of person. So guys, I should have took care of it a long time ago. Instead, it progressively got worse. And I kind of let it go until it really, really took a toll on me at home, in my personal life, mental state. It really beat me down. So I was connected through a really good client of mine to a physical therapist. And I was like, oh man, do I really got to do this? But I didn't have another choice because I'd been to the doctor, and anything wasn't working. All those steroid shots that they give you, nothing was doing it, man. Nothing. And it got progressively worse after the steroid shots. So it came down to one of my clients calling me and said, hey, I'm working with a physical therapist. The name of his business is Alina Performance. And the doctor's name is Dr. Joseph Rossi. And I was just like, I was desperate. And that was my next step, because that's what the doctor was going to do. So I made contact with Dr. Joseph, and we did a virtual call. And I was just kind of like, what's going to happen with a virtual call at a doctor? I'm just like, this whole world is Zoom and all this other bullshit that we got going on out there. Is this really going to help me? But I went into it with an open mind, and I really wanted to fix it and do what I needed to do. So I got in touch with him. We did a Zoom call, and I have to tell you what, the ways of medicine and how they do Zoom and all this other good stuff is pretty nuts, man, because it was just like being there. And he was able to show me a lot more things with my arm through actual diagrams and things that I just probably wouldn't have picked up if I did an in-person visit. So unless the doctor sat me down in front of a computer and showed me what was going on, and that's what I needed to know. But anyways, so I'm going to make it short, is that he fixed me with a virtual call. He showed me exactly what I needed to do at home to release to get rid of the pain, which was crazy. I never thought it would work. It's something that athletes do all the time because he works with a lot of athletes. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So being able to do what he did was immediate relief, not to mention the the exercises that he had me do to build up the muscle around the tendon. And I literally, guys, was fixed, like to the point where the pain went away, to like I was at a pain threshold about 8, and then the pain dropped significantly after my meeting with him. And I couldn't be even more pleased. And he was very professional. So I want to give a shout out to Dr. Joseph Rossi. I would highly recommend, if anybody's going through something that you don't want to go to the doctor for, and if you feel that doctors, I'm not a big fan of, like, I want to be honest with you guys. I've seen a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of like MD medicine. I'm just not. I know there's other shit around that works, and it's always good to get a second opinion. So I'm very happy I went with the physical therapy route, because it absolutely worked for me, and it fixed me. So, and it saved me like having to go in for surgery and all this other bullshit, because he explained to me what was going on. And actually the steroid shots were hurting me more than anything, and the scar tissue buildup, because there was just so much involved that somebody was telling me to do one thing versus the other. And I went with what Dr. Joseph had me do, and he had me fixed. So, but then again, it was up to me in the end to do the exercises, get the workout, do what I needed to do, and to build up my strength in my right arm again so I could gaff fish. But I would highly recommend Joseph, and I do a virtual session with him. You don't really, honestly, if it's something that you might think that it just need some help, you can fix without having to go to the doctor, because I do not like to go to the fucking doctor in person. I do not. The virtual thing, now I'm 100%, I'm big believer in that. So after what I just went through. So give him a call, 813-560-0635. And you guys know that I don't give recommendations unless it really is like amazing. So, and I've had an awesome experience with him. So thank you again, Doc. I really appreciate it. So on with today's podcast. So I just finished part 1 of the course as far as the reef fishing strategies goes. Part 1, I tell people exactly what I'm using for rods, reels, lines, knots, stuff that I have not talked about in the podcast, nor will I. So, and then also too, I threw a couple other things in there as far as nuggets go. I'm not going to even get into what they are, because those guys, I really thank those guys that bought at Pre-Book. Right now I'm working on the grouper course. I'm putting a lot of time into the grouper bonus and showing people the reef. And I'm also giving people the secret to picking your days. So I'm lining it up for you. You're going to have a diagram. You're going to have a lot of documents that you can have in a nice format. So it's kind of like you're getting your own book. So, which is really nice for people to have. And then from there, I'll do, then I do a course on top of that. Also, what I have to do is I'm doing this a little bit at a time, because I have to do the on the water stuff. And I've got some stuff planned for that. And I'm just going to not tell you what it is, because I'm putting in a lot of time and effort. And there's a lot of copycats out there that want to know what I've got going on. And I'm not even going to get into that, because there's so many of them. But they're never going to be able to keep up, because my brain is always on fire and 10 steps ahead of them. So, all right. Fishing tip today. We have some wind coming. Wind's blowing. It's going to continue blowing through tomorrow, 20. What to expect after this wind? We're coming off the back side of the moon. Guys, one thing you need to be ready for is to get your asses out to the Gulf to get on the cobias and the big triple tails. There will be large triple tails on those crab pots next week. So you need to be out there, and you need to be in on that early Spanish mackerel bite out there in the Gulf. Cobias are going to be on those wrecks. Those guys, you have to know that the timing is very critical, because once those spots get hit, the fish get picky and they move on. So you have to launch at Flamingo. It's another thing you can do, or you can trail your boats down a marathon and head out from there. There's lots of places that you can go to get out to the Gulf. As far as spots go, guys, just pull up a map. And honestly, a lot of those buoys out there, they have them right outside of Flamingo. You got the channel markers. You get out there, you have to, if you get a southeast wind, set yourself up, play the tides right, and you're going to get the cobias on the bottom out there. Now, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're there. When I used to go out there, we used to catch them on knocker rigs on the bottom with ballyhoo. So, that would set you up for some nice big mangrove snappers as well. And once you raise them up, there's going to be a school with them, and then you just cast that ballyhoo at them because the float rate is correct. And guys, there's a lot of ballyhoo out in the Gulf, a lot. Where do you think it comes from? So a lot of that stuff, a lot of the young of the fry of the year pushes through, and then that's what's happening right now. You get that easterly and all that stuff's getting pushed through, and we're going to see that all the really nice crops of ballyhoo pretty soon here. So when I used to round to the Gulf and fish on the wrecks, I would have thousands of small ballyhoo behind the boat. And I was like, oh man, I wish I brought my cast net, or some shit. I would always forget. But anyways, back then, the hoop nets weren't as available. I had them, but like I said, they always broke. And that's one thing good about the ballyhoop. You can always pick one up and you break one. You don't have to wait 3 years for a guy to make it. So anyway, so that's something to think of. Also, too, in the backcountry, when you get your first hard cold front, make sure you guys get to the East Cape Canal because that's where the sheep's head are going to be. Get there the day after. That tends to be when the best is. And also, too, when that wind's blowing from the north, those redfish like to eat on the leeward sides of those islands on the prefrontal. So they'll be cruising the flats. So just something for you guys to think about. That's that's a little. I don't talk much back there, but I know enough to make me deadly. So I just don't like it. So. It's a beautiful place to visit, but I just don't like fishing back there. So it's just me. As far as the offshore side of things, guys, when I fished last week, there was a good amount of ballyhoo out there. But I think after this nice bit of breeze, we're going to see a lot more bait pushing through. Sailfish are going to be a lot more active. It's just any day everything's it's breaking open. The dolphin fishing has been spectacular out there. So. But yeah, and as far as on the ocean side, the patry fish is going to break open. I personally don't like to do any sort of patry fishing until the middle of November. It has to be cold for me. I just don't get into it until November, honestly, and then I do it through December and February and January, December. So it is what it is. But guys, the first really good bite is going to, come here pretty soon. And, yeah, hope you guys get in on it. I will be doing a course on patry fishing. I'll announce the pre-book date on that. I'm going to do it here once I get finished with this course, the course I'm currently working on. I'm going to release the patry course for the winter time as well. I'll announce the pre-book with that here. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm so focused on getting this course, doing the best I can at putting out great content for people with this course that I really don't know. But also in between while I'm working on my current course, I take a break because I need to let my mind rest, and then I'm working on bait strips. I am going to release an update to the bait strips video, and I'll put an announcement up in the Facebook group of when the price is going to go up. But I'll probably do that on Sunday when the price is going to go up on the bait strip course. But the price is going to go up significantly because I'm going to give my secret as far as how another method that I really prefer to run. And then I'll show you step by step on how to do it. It's going to save you time and strips. You're going to get a lot more action. You're going to be able to do a lot more with them. And it's just an awesome, awesome method. So that's really all I got for today, guys. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. I'm going to leave you with one final nugget here. Make sure you guys get a hold of some sort of GPS tracker and a security device that's able to record your drift patterns and historical drift patterns, because you will able, over the course of 10 trips, you're able to gather great data on current and how current moves and all that good stuff. It'll help you get yourself dialed in. Now, this Sunday, I will be doing I do a Facebook Live every Sunday with a nugget in there, And this Sunday I'll be talking about the Atlas track. That's what I've been using. I've done some podcasts on that before, and I've talked about it in the past. But I'm going to be talking about it and showing some examples of some drift patterns and stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive, you know what? But it's a peace of mind, and that one has as far as the reputation with that device, it has the best reputation, and I've heard a lot more. Like, what do you say, recovery stories than I have with the device called the Spot. I used to have the Spot. I didn't like it. It was too complicated, and I just didn't like that product. That was my personal opinion, so nothing against Spot, but it just didn't work out very well for me. So, well, again, what may work for me may not work for you. Again, this Sunday night at 7 o'clock, and you have to put in to become part of the Facebook group. Honestly, you have to join up to the Facebook group and submit a request to join, and I go through the background and we'll see how it goes as far as the approval goes. So thanks again, guys. Follow me on Instagram for the Porgy Report. My Instagram account is Good Karma Sportfishing _FL_keys. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.